Hey, we're back. We're joined by Joe Thomas. He's the director of the Sussex County Emergency Operations Center. And that is not Jim Weller. If you're just tuning in, that's Jack Riddle.
You told me I was going to be Jim Weller tonight.
You can play Jim Weller if you want. If you want.
Okay. Do I need to?
That's it. You need to.
I need to sit lower.
Sit a little lower.
Well, I heard. Now wait a minute. I heard that we may have Jim showing up.
He
Is that
may.
true?
Via Skype. He might show up. Yeah. So.
Well, it is kind of appropriate. You know, Jim's not here, and we've got the man in charge of disasters.
Right. This is a disaster. Jim not being here.
Jim normally thinks he's in charge of all disasters. And most of the time, he creates most of these disasters himself, but he forgets that point. He likes to be the problem solver. Jim shows up and takes charge and fixes the disaster that he created.
Makes things happen.
Makes things happen. So
yeah.
That's why I guess Joe, you're here tonight, right?
Yeah.
You're going to tell us about non-Jim Weller made disasters.
Okay. I can try. Yeah, I can try.
So we've had some I don't know if you would call it considered a disaster, but we had some problems here in Kent County with some storms and stuff, which I know you're not part of Kent County, but I'm sure you're aware of the problems that they've had up there. So.
Yeah, they had some severe weather go through yesterday. We actually had some severe weather go through here, but nothing to that magnitude, and they've had some damage due to the storms up there.
Now, have they confirmed that it was a tornado yet, or are they?
My guess is the National Weather Service probably has not officially given the word. It takes them about anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to determine whether it's.
But there is videos and pictures of a funnel cloud, I think, so that kind of.
Well, see, that's what the National Weather Service will do. They'll take the pictures and the video that we get and send to them, and then compare it with the radar of that time period, and then they'll make a determination on whether it's a tornado or just winds associated with the storm.
So whatever it was a big mess, and
yes.
Luckily nobody got hurt from what I've heard, so everything.
Yeah, we actually had some of the same severe weather a week ago down in the Pot Nets area. We had some homes damaged down in that area. Really? Ended up being, the Weather Service said winds, straight line winds, but it was some pretty significant damage down there.
Yeah, well.
Joe, you are what is your official title?
I'm the director of the Sussex County Emergency Operations Center.
So these emergencies that we're talking about, somehow if they happen here, like the ones at Pot Nets you were just talking about,
yes,
you're involved in overseeing the. I mean, you're in that nice brand new building that we bought in Georgetown, right?
That's correct. Yes, we are. We've been there 4 years.
And your role is to. I mean, what exactly does your world do?
My job is to, in the event of any kind of disaster, is to coordinate the response at the county level. So what happens is that the local communities, towns, they request things because of the disaster. They need help with cleanup, debris, moving traffic, sheltering, and then it comes to me where I work with the state to coordinate that effort so that we can get people there to help them.
So you've got a few telephone lines and a few radios inside this building?
Yeah, just a few.
And you've got this thing that provides power.
Yes. We have a very substantial generator that keeps us
Wonder
going.
where you got the generator, Colin?
I would think from Weller's, but maybe not.
Did it come from Weller's?
Everything that was done was through the general contractor, so I don't know where he purchased his generator.
Okay.
Well, let's hope Jim doesn't hear that somebody in Sussex County bought a generator and didn't buy it from Weller's Utility Trailers in Bridgeville.
Now, 600 kW generator.
That's correct.
That is huge. If for people that don't understand what generators are, I would say your average generator is a 3,000 watt that most people have. 3,000, so that's a 3 kW.
Yeah.
600 kilowatts.
It literally fills up a room with about a 10, 12-foot ceiling.
Wow.
How many folks work in this building? I mean, how many people are there coordinating if we should have? Well, last year we had a hurricane right at just about this time, wasn't it?
It was.
Were you guys busy when that was going on?
Yes, very much. We had we have the 911 center for the county in the building, as well as the emergency operations center, which handles the disaster. So this time last year, we had the building pretty much full of folks on both sides. The different agencies that are needed to respond to this: state police, DelDOT, Red Cross for sheltering, and at certain points, we probably had anywhere from 50 to 60 people in the building working at one time. Wow. Which is a lot for us.
Wow. Normal shift is?
Normally, with just the 911 center folks, we're talking about at the most for somewhere between 10 and 15 people in there at a time.
This is a 24/7 operation,
yes.
Right? Because emergencies happen I guess a lot of them do happen at night.
Yes, and of course, being that we're just coming off the summer season, summer's always busy for us because of the beach communities and how much people travel to the area. So we're just coming off what's truly our busy season.
So if you make a 911 call in Sussex County, it goes through the Sussex County Emergency
With the
Operations
exception
Center?
of two areas, the city of Seaford and the city of Rehoboth Beach, the police department actually takes the 911 calls. They go into there. Everywhere else in the county comes into our center.
Wow, that's a lot to handle.
Yeah,
So you're dispatching fire, police, the whole.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Last year, over about 105,000 911 calls last year.
Wow. Wow. This new building, and we were talking about the building before you came on the air, and we were somehow thinking it was like a year old. You've been in there 4 years now.
4 years in April.
Got all the kinks worked out.
We think so, pretty much.
Everything's working fine.
Yeah.
So, and it is, even though we've not really had any bad, it is just starting hurricane season. Is that right?
No,
is it starting or is it ending or?
Hurricane season started the 1st of June.
Okay.
But basically, August, September, October is probably the height of the season. That's when you tend to see most of the activity. So we're kind of right in the heart of it, if you will, right now.
So.
I did read that it was supposed to be an average hurricane season, just kind of nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but you know, the way I look at it is it only takes one storm.
Right.
And it can only be one that year, but if it's a major one, then that's severe.
It seems that Sussex County usually is worst hit with a nor'easter.
Yes.
That I mean, it just one that gets and lays in here and blows northeast for 3 or 4 days and rains nonstop. It
over the
causes
years,
lots of problems.
It seems that those winter coastal storms are the ones that do the most damage to us.
Yeah, my business is right on the Mississippi River in Milford, and that, of course, the river runs almost due northeast, and the wind just blows the water right in, and it can't get out.
Yeah, when you've got a system that's just blowing the water and the wind coming off the ocean inland and just holds it there for 2 or 3 tide cycles, there's just no place for that water to go, and that's when we have problems.
All right.
I want to have a serious question. You guys actually sit there and watch the Weather Channel?
Believe it or not.
I mean, I watch the Weather Channel, and I can't.
Yes, we have a big screen in the Emergency Operations Center, and we are watching. We usually have the Weather Channel on. We have like local news or local TV station on to capture the local news, and then we've got some different computer programs where we may have like a hurricane tracking program which is showing us where the storm's moving, or we may have a status board up of things that we're doing at the time. You know, like dealing with relocating people or power outages or things like that.
A lot of computers involved, I'll bet.
Yes, yes, and it's getting more and more all the time.
Now, how does your center compare? I know there's something that you pass on Route 1.
That is the state.
That's the state.
State Emergency Operations Center, which their job is to coordinate the effort up and down the entire state. So they're dealing with us on the county level and helping us with any resource requests or any needs that we have.
Wow. Well, you know, you're one of those little things that nobody wants to think about. Nobody wants to ever pay for it. But boy, until they need it, and then you can get all sorts of resources.
I jokingly tell people that if you don't hear my voice or see my face on TV or hear my voice, then things must be pretty good.
That's what Jim Weller says. Jim Weller says that. If you don't hear his face or hear his face, if you don't hear his voice on TV, then that's a good thing. That's not what he says.
That's not what he says. That's the opposite of what he says.
That's exactly the opposite.
So, September is Emergency Preparedness Month. So what we're going to do, I think we're going to take a break here coming up. And when we come back, we're going to talk about things that you should have in your family disaster kit and just what we need to do on the local level. And even a special program that you have where citizens can actually get involved in the coordination, I think, of an emergency. So, So, Brooks, we ready for a commercial? All right, we'll be back.
Hey everybody, Jim Weller here, and I've opened a new store on Route 113 in Ellendale. Stop by and say hi.
Don't let your picnic go to the dogs because you forgot the gas tank. Bring Me Gas will dispatch a uniformed technician right to your grill with a barbecue tank exchange. You've put a lot of time into planning this great picnic, and now everyone can enjoy the beautiful day and the delicious food. Call Bring Me Gas at 302-422-0603 or order online at www.bringmegas.com.
Hey everybody, Jim Weller, and you know I sell everything but the kitchen sink, and guess what I'm selling? I'm selling sinks. That's right, single bowl sink, $37.50, double bowl sinks, $57.50. I've even got some dirty bowls. Come on into Weller's in Bridgeville and get them while I got them.
Fun in the sun and outdoor cooking really make for a great summer day. And who can resist the mouth-watering aromas coming from that barbecue grill? But is your outdoor gas grill ready? Got enough propane in that tank? It may be time for a propane exchange from Bring Me Gas Tank Delivery Service. Schedule same-day delivery right to your propane grill anywhere in Kent or Sussex. Call Bring Me Gas at 302-422-0603 or order online at www.bringmegas.com.
Hey, when you need a trailer, think of me, Jim Weller, the man, the myth, the legend. I love deals.
Hey, we're back.
We are back.
Colin Walls, Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas. Talking about emergencies that we hope we never have to think about.
Absolutely.
And because of you and your team, if it does happen, we'll be hopefully prepared. You have a lot of good stuff out on your website. I was kind of fishing around this afternoon.
I was looking too.
And you really have some good information out there that people, if they wait until they need this stuff and they go to the internet and they have no electricity, I'm not a disaster guy. But
Yes.
Colin, unless I have a propane-fired generator that I would buy from
Wellers? Yes.
I
would like to
and
sell
then I
the
wouldn't have
propane
internet,
also.
so I'm kind of. So there's some good stuff on your website that people. You mentioned it was hurricane season.
Yes.
Now, and I know there's a section about a family disaster kit.
Yes.
And I know there's a couple points on it, but there's a real down and dirty list. You say that people really need to make sure they have. I mean, Joe, I'm not going to ask what you have at your house because I'm sure you've got, nothing.
Because he's not there.
He's got there, but you're never there.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm at work, so it
Right.
doesn't.
Got everything you
but
need
what's
there.
the real down and dirty? And your website has some great tips and some great ways to deal with it. But what's the down and dirty, Joe? What do you really need to have around?
Well, first of all, I have to credit the county's IT department and our public information officer because they're the ones that gathered a lot of that information that we put on there so that we can try to get as much information out to the public as we can. But when it comes to a disaster kit, basically in a one sentence or less, you need to have whatever supplies you need to make yourself self-sufficient for about a 3-day period.
3
And
days.
without electric. So we're talking bottled water, canned foods, a can opener, not electric one, flashlights,
That would be a problem at my house.
flashlights with batteries, cash, because if there's no electric, you can't use an ATM machine. So have some cash, all your valuable papers, insurance papers and all those things, pillow, blankets, just the basic necessities so that in the event that the power goes out or you don't have any other means, you can self-sustain or survive for 2 or 3 days.
Well, I mean, a lot of people think that, that doesn't happen anymore, but it does. I mean, and I know it happens, seems like every year there's an area in Delaware that's without power for, something will happen, whatever it is, for days.
The last time that we had a significant power outage was during the blizzards, February 2010.
Okay.
If you remember,
I
there
do.
was power outages for 2 plus 2, 3, 4, 5 days, depending on where you live.
And it was cold.
Exactly. So that's why we say, get yourself a kit so you can have the necessities, so you can sustain yourself for 2 or 3 days until we can get help.
I mean, and it is a reality that it can happen, and
Yes.
it's going to happen.
I mean, if you look at what's going on down in Louisiana and Mississippi right now, they've been without power almost a week now.
Right.
And
That's
there's
a long time.
There's some that are still going to be without power for days to come.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So,
Now, somebody who shall remain nameless would tell you that probably you should have this one piece of equipment in your house.
yes. And I imagine that's probably a generator.
Yes,
a
a
generator? Who would ever come up with that idea?
But yes.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of folks out there that actually do have their own generators. It's surprising when I talk to people how many actually do have that.
Well, I think for a couple hours you can deal with it, but a couple days, I mean, at least if you have a generator, you can run your well, you can get some water
Plug
back
your
in.
refrigerator in, keep things cold in your
Yes.
refrigerator.
Yep.
It is handy to have, and I mean, I would say probably a 3,000 to 4,000 watt generator is going to be like your average, what you would want to run.
They're going to be on
thing.
sale because
Right.
we're going to put them on
We're
sale.
going to put them on sale, are we?
Yes,
All
we
right.
are. Now, you have a team of professionals that are helping manage all this through all the communications, and I'm glad there's a team of professionals out there. But there was something on your website that talks about citizens volunteers.
Yes.
Now, I believe you probably don't want people just to show up when there's an emergency and start beating on your door and be willing to run your radios and that kind of stuff, because that's probably a problem. But can you tell us a little bit about how an individual who has an interest and maybe get some training and be a part of a solution if there is a disaster?
Well, to start with, any disaster is local. And when I say local, we're talking right down to the neighborhood level. And typically, when you have a disaster, the first people that come to someone's aid are the neighbors.
Right.
So the idea is to tap on that resource. And if you've got people in the neighborhood that are willing to help, what we're doing is providing them training, basic first aid, how to use a fire extinguisher properly, just the little basic things so that in the event a neighborhood's really hit hard, they can help that community maybe get back on its feet while we're in the process of getting in there and providing it.
And this doesn't happen the morning of the hurricane?
No. We're talking after the storm's gone by, after the event. The folks, the volunteers, the citizens coming out and helping each other and being a part of us, our organization, ultimately providing a service back to the community.
So you have this roster of trained, qualified people out in the field that you can get to that are all volunteers that know a little bit more than the average person like Colin and I on how to deal with some of this.
Yes, we train them. It's called the Citizens Emergency Response Team, and we give them those basic needs. And there's a gentleman who's the coordinator of the group.
And who's that?
His name is Carl Davis.
Okay.
And what we do is that he keeps that list of people, if you will, and when the community is affected, like if this area was affected, there's folks that live in this area that he could reach out to and help them work in the neighborhood to be our first set of eyes and ears, if nothing else, to see so we know what's going on. So we know what we need to do when we get here.
And how, if somebody is interested in this, how do they just call Joe or call?
Well, they can
Carl,
do two things.
Carl, who do they call?
They
Joe?
can do two things. They can call us at the Emergency Operations Center. They can also go on the internet, the web page, and there's a Citizens Corps link, and you can actually send an email, or there's a phone number associated with it, and you can leave a message, and we'll get back to you.
I think it's Citizen Corps, Corps, C-O-R-P-S, Corps, at sussexcountyde.gov.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the best way to do it. Just send an email. Just say I'm interested.
You're interested. You're interested in becoming part of the Citizens Corps. You may already have a background. You know, this area, we've got a lot of people that retire and move to this area.
Right.
So some of them already have a background in some of these fields that we're looking for.
We've got retired full-time firefighters here, retired full-time police.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're
so they reach out by either email or the phone call, and then we'll turn around and contact them, and we'll start the process.
All right, excellent.
Wow.
Anything else you want to say? How to get in contact with anybody? You know, what is there any need for just regular citizens to even contact the Sussex Emergency Center other than a 911 call?
Well, no, yeah, actually, you know, we have. I actually go out and speak to homeowners associations and groups of people all the time, talking just about what we're talking about: preparedness, how we do business, how our operation works, and basically, if people have a problem or a question that involves preparedness, preparing for disaster, storms, 911. Call us. That's what we're here for. We'll try to answer your questions and help anybody out.
Excellent.
And the best way to get up with you is go to the web page, or is there an administrative number if somebody just wanted to call in?
Yes.
What's like the main non-emergency number?
The office number is 302-855-7801, and that's Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then, but if you call that number and no one answers, it'll prompt you. You can either leave a message with one with myself or any of the other people, or you can even hit 0 and you can talk to somebody in person.
That is fantastic.
All right, and if they have an emergency, don't call that number. Call
Call
911.
911. That is correct.
I think everybody knows that number now by now.
I think you've done a good job of selling that one.
Yeah.
I don't think it was on me, but.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe.